Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Kansas City Chiefs are your AFC West favorites, Andy. Sometimes when you have a team that underachieves to the degree that the Chiefs did last year, and they have, a relatively, their rating is tied to a man perceived as the best quarterback in football who tears his ACL. The next season is a little bit of a buy low opportunity on that squad because people are like, what have you done for me lately? You went like 5-11 last year, 5-12, whatever their record was. And that's not really the case. The respect for the Chiefs, who went 6-11 last year, has not really diminished at all. I think in the exact same breath where we were talking about how people, I think, are perceiving the Broncos record last year correctly, which was it was a little lucky. It was a little schedule driven. It was a little bit winning the close calls. People are correctly assessing the 2025 season with Mahomes under center as very unlucky. It has been broadly pointed out that they were unable to win one-score games last year, which had been a staple of the Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes experience to that point in life. So it was a surprise. And so here we sit now with the Chiefs favored in a very competitive division with clear, obvious holes on their roster. Like, we just covered the Broncos. We just covered the Chargers, Andy. Is there an obvious hole on either of those rosters? Like a hole?
On the Chargers?
Either of the rosters that we've covered and of the contenders in the West.
The offensive line right now for the Chargers.
Okay.
And I think, and if you wanted to point out negatives on the Broncos, it's like Nick's probably isn't that good.
Sure,
he's still just a mediocre quarterback who looked really good in a good system.
Sure.
And that the defenses are hard to keep a top 5 defense year after year.
Yeah.
Regression comes for everyone. So but those aren't like huge gaping
showstoppers.
Unless Slater's fucked, and then the Chargers might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah. I think the point I'm trying to make though is that, like, broadly, those rosters are pretty complete.
Yeah. No, very good rosters.
The Chiefs roster is very much not. And nobody's really kind of taking that seriously. They're just kind of assuming that Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, maybe more even so than Andy Reid, will elevate all of these pieces to minimum slight favorites in this division, which I find pretty fascinating.
Yeah, they've been trying to fix the same holes for a few years. It's been what's the tape on the water tank? The flex ceiling hole that offensive line and corner as they just continue to try to solve those issues and then you had the disaster.
I would have said
we can't win close games. The bros who wide receiver as well, but the bros who just made a bunch of money always betting on Mahomes late when they were down for a couple of years, gave some of that money back. Like, why didn't they win that game? They also win that game. It's like, it's not a gravy train that lasts forever, bud.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm definitely I definitely see a process failure with this front office. They've put a lot of assets into trying to address the offensive line and wide receiver room. And to me, it doesn't look like it's clearly borne fruit. They have some warm pieces. They have some hits. Like, just don't get me wrong. Creed Humphrey, I would say, is your best center in football. Your mileage may vary in your opinion of Josh Simmons, but he clearly possesses talent if he chooses to play. The wide receiver room, it doesn't look like there have been many answers found. The tight end room continues to age out of relevancy.
One of your wide receivers was rehabbing an injury in prison.
Is that good?
It's not great. I mean, I'm glad he was working on it.
In order to turn around the most stagnant rushing attack in football, you had to pay the Super Bowl MVP a lot of money. And because of making that decision in terms of allocating resources, you lost your entire secondary
to the same team, 2 of them. Yeah, but you lost 2 corners and a safety that started.
And the only guy that's consistently been able to generate pressure for your defense is Chris Jones. He is now entering his age 32 season.
Getting up there.
No edge help for him. You've had to make some tough decisions on how you're going to allocate your resources. And the reason you've had to make those tough decisions is because winning so much every year and drafting at the end of the draft has put you in a precarious situation where you've had to take some risks. You've had to take some swings. You haven't hit on a lot of those players. And as a result, this is now a team where you have an elite quarterback in Mahomes, a coach with a track record that people will go to war with as a top 3 coach in the NFL without really sweating, and a lot of problems on the roster, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a big question mark in like every section.
Yeah,
I think you can say that for even the one we feel the strongest is going to be your strength. Maybe your 2 strengths: coaching / play calling and quarterback. There's huge question marks for me there. Offensive line has 4 question marks. Skill group definitely has some question marks and an overpay. Defensive line, who's doing it beyond Jones and Karlaftis? Secondary is a bunch of replacements. I don't want to say replacement level players, but replacements to last year's starters. So a lot of this feels like a team that has a wide range of possibilities for this year. And one of them is they get the shit kicked out of them by the Broncos week 1, and that's just who they are. Like, Mahomes looks good. All right, so if you haven't been paying a ton of attention in camp, that was obviously something that everybody wanted to see. He looks fine. Like, he didn't play in the preseason game, but anything I've seen, stuff from camp or reports from camp, seems like he's confident and able to plant and move around on that leg, that knee. So hopefully that's not an issue, but who knows how that goes. They say injuries like that, a lot of it's mental, getting into a game, going up against a live defense and having confidence to take a hit, to plant on that leg. They say it's after months and months of feeling that leg not being able to hold you up or do what you want it to do, trusting it. So it's always interesting to see someone come back, because it goes one of 2 ways. It feels like it's like, they're clearly not the same person, or Adrian Peterson isn't smart enough to know that his leg is hurt and he's going to run for 2,000 yards.
What's the most kind of compelling comp for Mahomes coming back off of this ACL, in your opinion?
You're hoping it's the Brady season, right? Remember when he came back?
Are you?
That's fun. It's more fun if he's good. The league is more fun if Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes.
I agree. I was hoping you were going to say that Brady season. For those who don't remember, Tom Brady in the first game of 2008, when the Patriots were healthy favorites to win the Super Bowl, tore his ACL. What was the guy's name that got him? Do you remember? I forget the guy who got him. It was a Chief.
Like 2007, man.
2008, yeah. Anyway, Brady goes down. Patriots end up going 11-5. Don't make the playoffs with Matt Castle. Brady comes back in 2009. Patriots win 10-6, lost in the wild card round. They won their division at 10-6. Oh, great call. Yeah, I should come at that.
I had to look it up.
Yeah, you did. So 2009, coming back off of the ACL, the Patriots won their division, lost in the wild card round. All in all, it was a I think as good as you can hope, as you kind of are laying out for coming back off of an ACL. I just do want to kind of point out in that season, the Patriots struggled a couple times early on. Just up and down play before they unloaded a win against the Titans, 59-0 in the snow, week 6. And then it was like, all right, Brady's back, right? So like the clear and obvious point I'm trying to make here is like, it doesn't matter how elite of a quarterback you are. Like sometimes coming off of an injury like this, you cannot expect week 1 to look like week 1 on in a normal year. The difference between that team and this team, in my opinion, is that team was loaded. You had Julian Edelman, Randy Moss, and Wes Welker. That was your wide receiver room. You had Ben Watson was a solid tight end. You had an elite offensive line with Matt Light, Logan Mankins, Dan Coppin, Stephen Neal, and Nick Kaiser. And you had an amazing defense with guys like Vince Wilfork and Gerard Mayo and Adalius Thomas. Just tons of stars across that team. That's not what this Chiefs roster looks like.
Vince Wilfork is not on this team.
Yeah, well, Vince Wilfork is not. You at least have Chris Jones, I guess. But yeah, Vince Wilfork is not on this team. So I think what I'm getting at is that like expecting that's where you're going to land in a tougher division with a weaker team, I think is asking a lot out of Mahomes this year. And I would also say this is just like setting the goalposts, right? We're setting the goalposts for what to expect, right? Have you watched the clips of him so far?
Yeah, and again, it's
have you seen a good amount of his clips throwing?
Not really. I've seen a few. Like I want to see him plant more than throw. I want to see him comfortable in his legs, but I've seen some, and it's one of those things where I'm fine. He looks okay. He looks good. He looks like he's coming back. But like you mentioned, what can we expect from the rest of the team around him? Because that is a huge part. It's the most important position in sports, but you've seen good quarterbacks not get it done because the rest of the team and the roster as whole. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I feel like 2 out of every 10 clips I've seen of him throwing, there's mechanics problems going on with his lower body.
I don't know. I guess I'll have to watch more. I don't know. He seems like he's planting on it fine. He's always kind of a wonky thrower anyway. He throws from wherever position he wants to. He doesn't need to be, in the stance of, like Y.A. Tittle on a football card.
Well, I didn't want to go like mega negative here on Mahomes, but I do. I mean, I worry a lot about his arc and his progression carrying, into the future as an elite passer in the NFL if his mechanics are suspect. And I do think your point about he always had a little wonky mechanics is true, and I think that's a negative. I think it became like the arc of Mahomes, and I'm not trying to get too, qualitative here, but early on where he had just an absolutely elite arm paired with an elite weapon in Tyreek Hill and just brilliant play design and play calling by Reed was just, it was match made in heaven, some of the best offense we've ever seen. Hill leaves. Mahomes has to adjust his game. He's able to overcome the loss of the elite weapon. And in my opinion, it wasn't because he was attacking different parts of the field, which, I mean, I guess he was. He was attacking a little bit shallower because he was adjusting to the defensive trends. And he was still to just be truly spectacular, hitting the 11 to 20 yard passes on the sidelines consistently, and exercising the advantage he had with Kelsey against linebackers and safeties, which was another cheat code. What made him even more special, in my opinion, was his ability to extend plays, his ability to scramble when it mattered, and just was unsackable, and it all kind of added up to an aura, a vibe that every defense in the NFL feared and respected. And independent of his injury, Andy, I feel like that's faded a little. Do you agree? Maybe not.
Saying aura? Are we too old to say aura and vibe?
No,
I don't know.
we're not. It feels to me like it feels
quantify that though.
Yeah, well, I think you can look at his completion percentage over expected last year. Look at some of the some of his accuracy on deep balls is falling off. I think there were a couple of statistics last year that were not in the luck category for Mahomes before his injury that had people scratching their head. Did you engage in any?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit because, I mean, look at what week was he injured, Drew?
Week 12?
Later.
13?
I think it was later. I think it was later than that. Yeah.
It was the Colts game.
And what was their record? Yeah, what was their record?
They were 6-5 with an overtime win over the Colts in that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they were running away with the division and then everything fell apart that one week. Like they were a middling team at that point by record and by results. Like it didn't feel the same. I mean, again, it vibes and whatever else, and you can go look at some of the advanced stats, and he wasn't doing some of the stuff that got him to win those close games. So you wonder if he was carrying something before the big injury too. I don't know. It's hard to put a finger on exactly what was going wrong, other than they didn't win close games.
I think it was a lot of the efficiency. I mean, okay, my complete and total transparency. What went wrong for the Chiefs last year and why they didn't win close games was because the rushing attack was atrocious, and it put the passing attack in disadvantageous situations where it was a must-pass situation, and he had wide receivers that couldn't separate, and he was less efficient and less accurate, frankly. And there basically the limit does exist for how much Mahomes can, how much Mahomes witchcraft can overcome in terms of adversity. And I think you found it last year before he got hurt. And I think that the general setup of the way that this team is rostered does not set up for a quick bounce, like step forward before we really compete for a championship again next year. To me, I think it's going to be a longer arc. And I want to be ahead of the market, expecting everything is just going to be fine for Mahomes. I want to be in the situation where this first stretch of the season could look much worse than people are used to seeing from him because of this combination of being a little bit behind physically and working with pieces that are not very good.
It's funny too, because what you're saying makes sense.
There's a perfect world where everybody is here. We come into the season, everybody sees it, downgrades it, reacts, and then 6-8 weeks into the season, it's like they've been oversold. They're underrated. Mahomes puts together a couple of special performances. He starts to build his way back, and then it becomes an exercise in how do you price them for 2027. My mindset really is like trying to just be ahead of the wave here, and the wave is going to come, and people are going to kind of get there of, oh, the magic is gone. There's no reason to fear this guy. Right.
See, I disagree that it's going to happen outside because of Patrick beat me to it, and only because he's allowed to just type things, and I had to wait my turn. But yeah, it feels like there's some spots in that schedule early where it's like, oh, this team's fine. They had a tough week, but that was week 1. And Mahomes hadn't played in so long, and that's a tough defense. And we're not going to worry about that game. And then they're going to play some of these easier games, and people are going to be bought in. And then I do worry. And kind of the overarching theme of me rating, especially the offensive side of this ball, was I kind of got to give them the benefit of the doubt because of the body of work even Reed, Spagnuolo, Bieniemy, Mahomes, if you want to put the body of work on those 4 men. That said, it's one of those teams where, you talk about this a lot where, hey, I'm not going to adjust this team really hard because of, who they're playing first off, or the situation. I know it's a tough game against Denver, and it'll be hard to not overreact if they go up there and just, the offense looks abhorrent against what could be a top 3 defense. But I think overall, I'm going to be quicker to adjust this team down if it just looks like it's not so much the defense, it's he's not back. The mechanics look a little jankier, and the offense just isn't as crisp anyway, especially in wins against some of the softer teams throughout that first quarter of the season. It might be, hey, we're not upgrading the team because, like, you won, but I'm not viewing.
So
I'm not viewing this as the best team in the AFC West.
Let me crystal ball this for you then.
Okay.
First 8 weeks of the season against the bad teams, ugly wins fueled by Kenneth Walker getting 35 touches a game.
Yeah.
Against the good teams, non-competes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't upgrade them against some of these bad teams if it's just, hey,
I'm saying like, if that's the reality, like what's the temperature in the market for the Chiefs? Like, are people literally just like, I'll sell at a loss? Like, they can't even beat bad teams. Like, this is concerning.
I don't know. People still, I think there'll be a group in the market that's still willing to buy in on it because, again, of the history, the body of work. If they have a good enough record, even if you can clearly see, hey, that was a bad team, and it was mostly the running games, and Spags was in his bag against a young or bad quarterback, and they put a good defensive scheme. They won 14-3. Like, clearly not the team that we saw at the peak of the KC powerhouse. So it's going to be a team. It's going to be easy because it's not like the Jets where we have to catch them on the 1 o'clock. Gotta go find them. Gotta go find them on Sunday Ticket. Like, they're gonna be in some prime time.
They're gonna be in your face. They're playing on Thanksgiving. They're playing on prime time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 standalones this year for them.
Yeah. So,
and a lot of high profile games too. It's a tough schedule, which is another part of the equation here. So I guess where I'm kind of at is,
I think we're in agreement that we're willing to downgrade this team quickly if it doesn't feel right.
Oh, for sure. And I think, and also even more than that, like I want to be slightly ahead of the negative downturn in opinion on them to then kind of catch the crest of the wave at the right time. And it might not be this year.
Yeah. There might not be a buyback spot where, hey, we're
this
getting
year,
back in.
Yeah.
It might just be like, no, we're fine.
This is
never being in.
Yeah. This is a team that could go 6-11 against the spread this year. And you know how many of those 11 losses are going to be in my account? 0. Like, I'm not going out of my way to bet on the Chiefs with the against any of the bad teams or in any of the coin flippy spots.
Even when they were really good, they were not like this team that covered a lot. Remember that? It was always like, they won, but
of course. Well, yeah, because they just smothered their opponents in second halves. Yeah.
Yeah, they were never any fun to bet on because it's like, hey, this was a game they were never, ever, ever in danger of losing, but they were never going to cover 8.5.
Yeah.
Like, it just was not in the cards.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did you think of their offseason overall?
Good. They added a quarterback.
Okay.
in Patrick Mahomes, who
He's
was
a good
not
quarterback
on the
too. Yeah.
roster at the end of the year. That is important.
They added 2 quarterbacks, Andy.
To be fair, they did. All right, so
Justin Fields.
Yeah, the negatives. We went over all the negatives, but Creed Humphrey and Chris Jones are still very good. Bolton had a good season. Carl Loftus, a little underrated. You kind of shit on the pass rush. I'm a Carl Loftus guy.
Nah.
And you know what? Kelsey, 1.47 yards per route run in a season where we've done for a few years. We're like, is he done? He still found it at times. So we'll see if we get one more of those. I don't know. It's harder to believe every year. The secondary wasn't great. And then it got torn apart as it was in the offseason anyway. You kept Shamari Connor, who was a terrible coverage grade if you want to go there. So the tackles didn't play well. Xavier Worthy existed and played. To be fair, do you remember what was it? Was it like friendly fire? Was that the injury for his shoulder where he ran into like Kelsey or something early in the year?
It was like the third play of the Chargers game, and I think it was defense, but it might have been friendly fire.
I thought either way,
the friendly fire one was Rashee Rice.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah. So, but yeah, Worthy had a labrum that needed to be repaired anyway. So the offseason was go overpaid for Kenneth Walker. Whatever. You haven't been able to draft the right running back. It's an upgrade. Justin Fields is a pretty good backup. Honestly, if you want to give him a little bit of daps for that, it doesn't hurt to have a backup who can play football. He's started plenty of games. You went and got Alohi Gilman, the safety from Baltimore, and Kader Kohu from Miami, because that's who you want to go pick your defensive secondary pieces from, the Miami Dolphins guys. But you lost starters, so you needed to.
Andy, if you squint the secondary, does it not give you 2025 Dolphins flashbacks?
A little bit,
like a lot, like kind of a lot, right? There's no Storm Duck. It's not as.
I was just gonna say we need to get Storm Duck in the building.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys here with a lot to prove that they can handle these roles.
Tonga, what's your thoughts on Tonga?
He's a good player.
Yeah,
run defender.
You got a good run defender.
On paper, that makes sense putting him next to Chris Jones. We'll see.
Yeah. Emmanuel Ogba from, was he with Jacksonville last year? He's been with a few teams. I believe this is actually his second stint in Kansas City, another defensive end. And then, as you mentioned, the exodus in the secondary, Trent McDuffie was traded to Los Angeles. Jalen Watson followed in free agency. Brian Cook, your safety. Safety? Brian Cook. That sounds right.
Safety. 890 snaps.
Went to Cincinnati. It is a lot of snaps. That's a ton of snaps that have left the secondary. Isaiah Pacheco was replaced and upgraded. At what cost, though? And then you drafted Mansour Delane. This is what pick did they have, Drew?
They had pick number 9 that they traded up to 6 to get Delane.
It's crazy. It's just jarring to see pick 6 for the Chiefs when it was so much of, pick 31, 32. Oh, they took Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Good. Like, they actually drafted somebody who can play, and they needed to. Again, you need a McDuffie replacement. So you made the trade with Cleveland. You took Mansour Delane, the LSU cornerback. You took Peter Woods from Clemson later in the first round. That's an interior rotation piece. It's going to probably, right beside Chris Jones there, especially when you're looking on pass rushing downs, I believe. Edge from Oklahoma, Mason Thomas. He is apparently pure pass rush. It's going to be a guy who's going to rotate through on the edges. You got another corner safety. Nickel competition, Jaden Kennedy from Oregon, a running back for Nebraska, maybe a change pace third down guy if he catches on, a slot receiver from Cincinnati named Cyrus Allen, and then a quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier, a developmental piece behind Justin Fields and Pat Mahomes from LSU. They have not retired his number at LSU either. So far in my notes. Andy Reid is on year 14. Spagnuolo is retained. Again, Bieniemy is back. Although, and I hate to delve into shit like this that's not football related, but Bieniemy having a weird camp / off season as far as some of the distractions there. I can't imagine that.
No shit.
I can't imagine. I just think about, you try to put yourself in those shoes, and obviously we have much lower stress jobs than NFL coordinators and coaches who are working 100 hours a week. I think about like times in my life when like my dad had some illness or like something bad happened and trying to concentrate on my job. And it's like, I'm just not going to be productive this week. Like it's just, it would be very hard.
Gonna need a personal day or two.
It'd be very hard to be really focused in on, getting this offense ready for the season with some of the distractions.
It's hard to do that when there's a really good Monday Night Football game on.
I know. I get distracted by I got vacation plans in 3 weeks. I should start packing. Anyway, he is back, and then it sounded like when he was out, Joe Blameyer ran the offense, passing game coordinator, when Bieniemy was out dealing with that stuff.
The entirety of the offense to me felt like we can't solve all the problems in one offseason. So we're going to have to pick and choose where to allocate our problem solving.
Yeah, did you
deal with the rest of the
any
problems
offensive
later?
linemen that they
No.
any offensive lineman fixes in that long stretch there?
No. I mean, apparently Cyrus Allen is the answer at wide receiver, according to everyone who's at Chiefs practices. Is that good or bad? That your fifth round wide receiver choice is showing up all of the wide receivers in your depth chart. Is that good or bad? I honestly, I read that as bad. I hope Cyrus Allen has a great season as the long contributor here, but
I don't know. Like it's probably for the most part, if you have a guy who's drafted that deep and you have some established names and you're more excited about that guy, it's usually bad. But I try to take it with a grain of salt. Or what's the opposite of a grain of salt? I try to look at the silver lining is people find diamonds in the rough sometimes, and maybe they don't even realize.
Jacoby Lane as a diamond in the rough for the Ravens is a good sign.
It could be, hey, we got a Puka. Sometimes you draft a guy late and he works out. You never know.
Fair. That's fair.
But
he could be
generally bad.
That's
generally bad.
Hopefully
he doesn't bite anybody.
Yeah, that's a fair point. The Rams might not have a Puka to start the season. We'll see. All right. I think the offseason to me felt like we can't solve everything in one offseason. So we're going to address these now because it makes sense to do so with the resources at our disposal, and we'll address the rest at a later date and hope Mahomes comes back and can ultimately get back to his level of play by the end of the season. We shall see if that is a fair bet. But again, this is an incomplete roster. This team is not contending for a title. If Mahomes pulls off a title contention run with this squad of players, I will recant and retract all of my aura and vibe commentary with extreme prejudice. Interesting.
This is funny from Scott comment in the chat. It says these quick, small wide receivers overperform in camp every year. Most don't pan out. You wonder if that's like, hey, we're not hitting in camp yet. So our 150-pound slot receiver who's twitchy, he's doing good because he hasn't gotten laid out.
Yeah, but when he embarrasses your first pick, Mansour Delane, is that a good sign that he can embarrass a good cornerback, or is that a problem with your cornerback? These are questions we need answers to. Andy, let's go to ratings, but before we do, be sure to give serious consideration to signing up for the professional football contest at Circus Sports this NFL season. This is Millions 8, right? I think this is Millions 8. Right. I've done 7 of them, and I will do as many of them as they continue to offer them as I am living on the earth. It is an extremely fun contest to throw your hat and try to prognosticate at a 65% or better level in the NFL. Must pick 5 sides a week. And if and when you hit that high water mark and win real money based on it, that's something they can never take away from you. And if you actually do win and you get the blue blazer, it puts you in rare air of elite company, and we hope to be there one day. So, an impassioned, not plea, but an impassioned, thumbs up of the experience of playing in the pro football contests at Circa Sports. Millions in Survivor are going to hit high water marks for contest pools this year. Survivor is tracking for 25 plus million. You're going to want some skin in these games if you have a competitive bone in your body, which I know you do. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere.
I know I should have requested the novelty check, Patrick. They should have made one for me. I missed the check ceremony. I couldn't make it that Friday, but it's $1,000, but you tell me you're sitting here listening to an hour-long preview podcast and you're not wagering. What's that come out to? Like $75 a week? I bet you're gambling more than that a week, buddy. I bet you're gambling more than that on silly SGPs in addition to other things that you're betting. So
it's a great point.
Even if you tack on a proxy fee, it's like $70-$80 a week for a pretty fun contest. Even if you just get one entry in there, which is all I can handle. I can't handle the thought process of having two entries and playing them against each other. So get out there, hit us up if you have any questions, and let's get into the ratings, guys.
All right. I'm not going to be a value add to this portion of the podcast, Andy.
Because you're a negative Nelly.
Not just that I'm a negative Nelly, but I'm going to pin my number to just below market on the Chiefs all year and probably not take any action on them and only bet against them when I'm excited to, get a good
matchup against
be on the get a good matchup and be on the opposite side of the Mahomes stacks. And so I didn't really put a lot of thought into my numbers. I just kind of tried to track market opinion on these things. And so I will reflect the market and tell you that the quarterback and offense number should be somewhere in the ballpark of better than Drake May and worse than Josh Allen. And that is a 7.7. So good number. Pat Mahomes might be playing at a 5 or 4 level for the first weeks of the season. And I won't be surprised based on the clips I've seen so far. But I'm going to anchor my numbers with a big one.
Yeah. 7.5, pretty close to me. It's another one where if I use too much of last year, it's like, oh no, this number's not right. This is a little too low.
This is really low.
I need to kind of nudge this up. And it was, if I used my strict formulas and how I do it from attempt weighted stuff from 23 through 25, it had him as like the 12th best quarterback. I'm like, well, that's not right. That's not right. Yeah. So no, it was like a 6.5. So I bumped it up to a 7.5 based on I've seen it happen.
If I use that number, which is it's funny. I was kind of right in that range. I was kind of right in that range. And if I use 6.5, then I'm 2 points off market on the Chiefs, which I'm not willing to go that far.
Still is coming back from a December knee reconstruction, but he's cleared to play. Things are looking good. We'll keep an eye on him through camp.
Speaking of keeping an eye, keep an eye on how often he is scrambling. Yes.
Bieniemy back in the fold is a positive as well. We mentioned he's probably, had some distractions here with the real life stuff, but having him back in the room, I think is a positive for Reed.
I will withhold judgment on that comment until we get some information. And as far as watching Mahomes, don't just watch the mechanics. Don't just watch the downfield accuracy. Do a count sacks, count scrambles, count running efficiency on scrambles.
Do you have one of those clickers?
Yeah, of course.
Like you're counting the people that are coming to church.
Yeah, exactly. Count. Keep an eye on that sort of things because that's in recent seasons that's been the X factor for him. Skill position group for me, I went with a 6.1, and it's largely Kelsey and Walker. I hate this wide receiver room, but I can't go lower than that. What are you at?
Yeah, I'm 5.3. A lot of it was...
That's probably closer to right. Again, like I'm lower than them as it is, which meant felt like I had to pump these numbers up to kind of capture the market sentiment, which I don't. Maybe I'm being a pussy. Am I being a pussy? Do I just need to bet against the Chiefs every week and go and win 10 units or whatever?
Yeah, go 10, 6, and 1. Is that enough? Yeah, that's 17. The Rice and Worthy worry me. Kelsey's 36. Kenneth Walker's great, but are we really crafting an offense that's built around running the ball?
It sounds like they are.
That's crazy to me. I'll bump it up if we are, because I think that could work. Maybe we'll see with this offensive line, which brings us to offensive line, where I'm probably high. The more I spent with this today, I hate my number and I want to go below 5.
I'm at a 5.2, and it's honestly because they have standout play from their center, Creed Humphrey. And I still believe in Trey Smith. I think Trey Smith is a good player.
So
Simmons is a fucking wild card. Very, very, very strange that no one in the Kansas City media really felt that it was reasonable to inform the public as to whatever was actually going on with him last year. It was personal stuff. Man.
I did a Freedom of Information Act request and got nothing back
from a guy who slid in the draft process because people questioned his commitment to playing football, elected not to play football for half the season, and everybody just yawns and walks past it. What the fuck? I really don't get that. Anyway.
It was weird. I'm at a 5.4. A lot of it is just having the best center in football in Creed Humphrey. Simmons played 8 games. Trey played 12. Trey was above average. Jalen Moore's your projected right tackle. I don't hate that right side, I guess. What's
I don't like Jalen Moore.
Are you a negative on? I like Trey Smith more than I like Jalen Moore. Are you a negative on Kingsley?
Yes.
Sua Mataya? Yeah.
Yes. Kingsley is a minus. Like Jalen Moore is a minus. Simmons is a neutral. Creed is a plus. Trey is a plus. I get to 5.2.
Okay, 5.4 for me. I might bring this down depending.
Of all of my numbers across the Chiefs, that's probably the one I'm not going to touch. I think they're right at 5, maybe a little above. I could very, very clearly see myself ticking with the other ones that I have, but that one's going to be 5. They are the 5th best offense by my ratings. It's 67th percentile. I say my ratings basically to get the fucking market number, regressing close to the market number is how I got there. And yeah, it's I don't know. I guess I'm going to be surprised if they're top 5. Will you?
Yes.
Where are you for overall?
I'd have to.
You got to be pretty close to top 5. You got to be like top 8.
I mean, yeah, just having that high of a quarterback OC number kind of elevates you there. Oh, like 9th, 8th.
Yeah.
I have a overall. Yeah, it's like a 63rd percentile offense.
Okay. Their defense, again, was very tough to come up with fares. I think I probably undershot the run stop based on the addition of Tonga. And I probably overshot the coverage, so it'll come out in the wash. But I'm at a 4.9 for run stop, 4.8 for pass rush, 5.0 for coverage. If Chris Jones gets hurt, pass rush for me would drop into the high 2s, low 3s.
Yeah.
Coverage for me at 5. I want to just give you a quick defense of this and see if any of this checks out to you.
Okay.
Noel Williams, Nohl Williams. When I saw his name on the depth chart, I was like, uh-oh, that's our CB1?
He's good.
He's good. I was kind of surprised. He only played 430 snaps last year, but his coverage grade was good. And not like, whoa, this guy's changing the position. But like
he's not hurting you.
He's not hurting you. He's not hurting you. The guy he's next to, Chamari Connor,
he
bad. He should not be starting on an NFL team. He should not be starting.
He needs to gain 20 pounds and play more in the box.
Honestly, the guy that's behind him on the depth chart, Jaden Hicks, is better, which is hilarious. We'll see if the Spagnuolo presumably will identify that and make that change if that's the way that goes. Aloy Gilman, I don't love, but he's
well,
not.
and again, you have no continuity. It's so many. Gilman from Baltimore, Cove from Miami, Delane from a college team.
Yeah,
Like, it's a bunch of guys playing back there.
Yeah.
In a defense that asks a lot from
Yes.
you. And
Yes.
you know, it's always been good. We've always been impressed with what Spags has done, but
yeah. So Delane is a wild card
with the pressure.
Yeah. Delane is a wild card. And then this other guy, the starting nickel, Chris Roland Wallace, he does not look very good. That's a tiny sample size. Delane's sample size is 0. So we're kind of shooting and we're kind of guessing here. But like, if they go up against a couple of good quarterbacks, which when we look at the schedule, you'll see is not going to get this feedback for a while. But when they go up against some good quarterbacks, if they get cooked, I don't think we should be surprised. There's some problem. There's 3 potential 3 weak links, I think, in the secondary here.
I'm lower than you. I'm at 4.7.
You know why I ultimately bumped it back up to a 5? Wow. I was coming in low. I bumped back up to the 5 because both Drew Tranquill and Nick Bolton are good coverage linebackers. They're both good. So like, you're going to be able to cover the screen game well. You're going to be able to cover tight ends reasonably, I think. You're just going to get reamed by anyone with a good quarterback and good weapons in the passing attack, right? Yeah. Like the Patriots, man, it's a shame they're not on this schedule. What fun it would be to bet the Patriots against the Chiefs this year with like the Drake May combined with the weapons in that passing game. That would be fun. There's not many teams on their schedule where you're really excited about the wide receivers, though, especially weeks 3 and 4.
Well,
so lucky.
Who knows? Maybe he mixes it up, but we're gonna go a bunch of what do they call it? The amoeba front, the amorphous. Hey, there's 7 guys and 4 of them. We're rushing 4 on every down, but it's gonna be a different 4, and we're expecting a lot of man coverage. We're rotating out of the. You go 2 high safeties, and you rotate to a man coverage back there, and you're expecting a rookie, a nickelback we don't know much about, and a strong safety to just play a bunch of man while you move people around up front and maybe blitz one of those guys. He blitzes corners and safeties at a pretty high rate too, so it's going to be very interesting to see what Spags does with the secondary. Secondary is kind of the crux of what happens to this defense, because pass rush is going to be fine to slightly above average based on what Karlaftis does. I think Chris Jones is going to be great. Karlaftis is good. And then you have I kind of miss Mike Dana in the spot. I'd take him, I guess. Carlos Amenahu was on this team at one point, but yeah, Ogba, he's 32. You have a 32-year-old pass rusher. You need more of those. So I'm probably a little high with my 5.8. Then run stop, I'm higher than you as well because of the Tonga thing. And Chris Jones isn't great against the run, but doesn't have to be. We don't need him. We don't.
Overall,
we have
a league average.
Bolton and Tranquill.
Overall, it's a league average defense for me. It looks like you're going to be above league average by a hair. I'm right at it. Your coaching number is lower than mine. I thought there were some. I think I still hold Andy Reid up as kind of one of the better second half coaches to bet on as far as adjustments go. And it can be adjustments to put away a win. It can be adjustments to getting back into a game. But I think he's a good in-game adjustment guy. And I think the Chiefs were generally better than average in terms of go for it. Pass over expectation was pretty solid. If they run when they should be passing this year because they invested in Kenneth Walker, maybe I'm coming in hot. Special teams, you're at 5, I'm at 8. Well, I'll change mine to 5. And overall, you're at a 61st percentile. I'm at a 63rd percentile. That puts us both right around +3 fair rating for the Chiefs.
What's your market number? So about a 3.5, 4?
Market fair on Chiefs is 2.96.
So You're just a shade lower. You need to drop your number if you want to. You're talking the talk. Let's walk the walk. Let's make it a 0. It's a league. This is a neutral team.
I got to see more clips of Mahomes. If he's just sandbagging in these practices because he doesn't want to hurt himself, and he's what's the meme? What's the funny line from Star Wars? If he's fully operational, and I don't want to be sorely mistaken week 1. So,
what part of Star Wars is that from?
I think it's Return of the Jedi.
Death Star is fully operational.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. When your friends get to the moon base, they're something I don't remember.
Oh, that's Jedi.
It's Jedi when the Emperor is going on about that. Yeah, he could be he could be fully operational week 1, and I'm going to be pretty bummed if I'm exposed. Yeah. Because I guess the thing, here you go. You're right. Here's where I'm at. You ready? If I use the kind of what I think I will adjust to for quarterback and OC if we get some signal that Mahomes isn't quite right. And if I use the skill position number, that's a little bit more like 50th percentile. My Chiefs number is a 0.76, which means week 1 against the Denver Broncos, I would have the Broncos favored by a meaningful amount as 2.5-point dogs. And I don't know that I love the idea of one of my biggest side bets of the season being week 1 Broncos against the Chiefs.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted because remember we used to get porn bots. I haven't blocked this guy because I'm trying to figure out what he's about. Are you seeing these comments from Eric?
Is he talking about?
I don't know. I'm going to read one. Maybe Prince Harry should have a child with a Chinese lady. Since 1776, 660,000 U.S. military personnel have been killed in combat. The UK forgot about Stonehenge and then became one with a tranny Jesus. Not quite sure what the message is. We're probably gonna block this guy. We're gonna delete his comments. Anyway, run that back by me one more time. I'm sorry, I was very distracted because there was 7 insane comments in a row.
Basically, if I'm not regressing to market for Mahomes and the skill group, then I have the Broncos favored week 1.
Yeah, I'm going to bet on the Broncos.
And I'm not dying. I know I'm not, but the Kelly bet size for that would be pretty substantial. And I'm not really dying for the make or break bet week 1 Monday Night Football game betting against Mahomes.
Oh, just regular stake. We don't do Kelly in week 1 because week 1's too much of a it'll get you.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
I don't know. We don't talk about that much, but I do change the staking on my games based on my edge.
Of course.
Not week 1. Week 1 is if I have a few games I like, they're all the same because I'm usually very wrong and very right out a few, and it'll all come out in the wash.
Okay.
I don't want to be wrong on the wrong ones.
Let's look at the schedule. Monday Night Football opener. KC hosts the Denver Broncos. Right now, it's actually 2.5-point favorite for KC in that spot. They then get 3 games where they are favored by more than a field goal. Hosting the Colts, where Mahomes tore his leg last year. At Miami, where they're 7-point favorites. And at the Las Vegas Raiders. Right now, Denver has a good enough set of wide receivers that I think they can put sincere pressure on the Kansas City defensive backfield. I don't think the Kansas City pass rush is good enough against the fully healthy Denver offensive line to cause pressure and problems for Knicks. I think Denver outscores KC there, and I think it's actually not. It's a good bet on Denver week 1. That's where I'm at. 10. Week 2, Indy's wide receiver group is all kinds of fucked up. Who knows if they'll be healthy and be able to test your defensive backfield? But if they are, that's a good spot to bet against KC. Miami has no wide receivers. Las Vegas has no wide receivers. The Chargers have weak wide receivers. Seattle has 1 wide receiver. So it's going to be a while before you're up against an elite quarterback with good wide receivers to really kind of put your your secondary into a bind. In fact, it's probably not until week 13 when you play the Rams, and then Rams, Cincy, New England, bam, bam, bam. Those are the 3 games that I'm excited about, where you have pretty positive matchups against KC. In a perfect world, KC somehow beats the Buffalo Bills on Thanksgiving. Everybody's like, "Oh, Mahomes is back. KC's rating is back up to a +3," and then you can
Rams
just dump on
-3
them
for the house.
You can just dump on them, bam, bam, bam. Like that. That's the best case scenario here.
Rams -2.5 would be electric.
Oh, don't
Don't
tempt me with don't tempt me with a good time. Man, that would be fun.
It's crazy. They don't have a terrible matchup against Seattle. You're right. Even though that's at Seattle, that's a tough one. If you win that game, you have a decent chance you're 5-2 through 8 weeks with just 2 losses against Denver.
That's kind of wild, right?
Because
Denver might have 2-0 over you and be like 3-4.
Yeah, if you lose that first game against Denver, I don't see how you're bouncing back at Denver on a bit of a slightly shorter week. Yeah, that's a nasty spot at Seattle, at Denver.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, you'll lead the division, but you'll be 0-2. You need that Chargers win though. You gotta win against the Chargers.
Yeah.
To be like 5-3, 0-3 in the division, or 4-3, that'd be a tough hang.
I mean, 8-2 through 11 weeks is not out of the realm of possibility with the 2 losses coming against Denver. Yeah. I just want a world where we can bet on the Rams, Bengals, and Patriots, all with kind of decent prices against KC there. Those are the only 3 teams they really play, though, that have exactly the right recipe to hurt them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bit of a soft landing too, where 3 out of your last 4 games are at home. Some tougher teams, but you do get the Raiders to close things out at home.
The other side of the coin, Andy, what happens if through 8 weeks you've lost twice to the Broncos, you lost to the Chargers, Seattle beat you going away. You couldn't score 10 points on Seattle. You had a tough time with Miami and Vegas, and Indy came down to a made field goal in the last seconds, one way or the other, right? Like if that's where we're at with these guys through 8 weeks, is the market below 0 on them, or are they still holding on to a Mahomes tax?
You're a neutral. You're a neutral, I would think. You're still a league average team.
Jets, Atlanta, Arizona, catching points against these Chiefs. If those are kind of heavily bet favorite spots, are you gonna skip them?
Maybe not the Jets. The Jets, I might skip. Man, that's not a great matchup. But I'd consider the Cardinals.
The Jets can defend the run.
That's fair.
Their coverage.
Yeah, you got to see what the offense. What exactly is the offense at that point as well? We'll need to know a lot more about that before I can say, yeah, I'm going to take the Jets in week 9.
As I look down this schedule, I worry about KC scoring into the 20s when they're up against a team that can stop the run. I worry that they are going to get gashed when they're up against a team that has a good quarterback and good weapons. And those are, I think, the times. Those are the times you want to either bet under on a Chiefs game or bet against the Chiefs on the side. And it may be a lot of times for me this year. There's no matchups as I look at this entire rundown where I'm licking my chops to bet the Chiefs. Tell you that much.
Is that the worst, Patrick? Is that the worst 3-game stretch we've seen on a schedule yet? Buffalo, Rams, Cincinnati, all on the road, all in a row. Like
it probably is.
Teams. It's rare that teams have back-to-back-to-back. Many teams do not have 3 straight road games. Plenty of teams do, but I'd say a majority of teams don't even have a 3-game road stretch anywhere on their schedule, much less against the favorite for the NFC, the favorite for the AFC, and Joe Burrow. Like your easiest game there is hopefully the Bengals aren't good. That's your third stretch. One of them is 2 of them are Thursday games. So you go Thursday, Sunday. That's a weird stretch, man.
And then the Monday night football game after that, you're at home facing last year's AFC title winners off of extra rest.
Yeah.
Who's covering A.J. Brown in that matchup, by the way? Who's covering Jamar Chase? Is it Noel Williams? Guess it is.
Yeah, and Sam, good point too. You're going to upstate New York, back to flyover country, out to LA, back to flyover country, to northern Kentucky, and then back home again to face the Patriots finally.
A lot of travel. A lot of orange. All right, man.
Any preseason bets in this team? I don't have anything.
West, no.
Comeback player of the year, Mahomes, no.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Minus 300. I'll see if we can find that on the Cal Shees. I'm going to start calling it the Cal Shees. Like, that just means prediction markets. It's going to be one of those, like, how you call it, skill or Kleenex.
This is a total non sequitur, and I know we've already gone over an hour, so sorry to make us go longer.
Barely.
But there's been a bunch of Chat GPT commercials lately, and including one where the chat is encouraging an old lady to call it Chat GPT. Why not just brand it Chat? Everybody would know what you're talking about.
Lose the Just call it Facebook. It's cleaner.
It's cleaner. Just call it Chat. What the fuck are you doing? Like
especially for old people.
Yeah,
like it might be a little dystopic.
Chat GTP or GPT? GP. What does GPT stand for? What does GTP stand for?
I know it might be a little sad. It might be a little dystopic and sad, but like this might be a pretty good tool for. Hey, this is a super
companionship
senior that, like, guess maybe they don't have any family. It's not just they have a shitty family that doesn't visit them.
Yeah,
they might not have any family, and like, it can make them quite a bit happier. Because
the couple of commercials I've seen were written by Chat because they made no fucking sense. They were so ridiculous.
As long as I got some time. As long as we're whining about, my least favorite thing is everybody making their graphics, and it's like so readily apparent. Do you remember the first giveaway that something was AI was the M dash? Because the M dash is actually quite useful if you don't always want to use a comma or a semicolon. It's tragically underused, and then it became quite a bit used and you quickly knew, like, oh, there's 3 M dashes in this paragraph. This is the giveaway. AI.
Yeah.
So now the AI giveaway is that fucking font. The font. You see it with the slide. It looks like it's scribbled on there, and everybody's poster. And it's like, man, you see this from like so many small businesses with their food flyers and stuff. It's like, God, just use your own. Like, you can make an AI poster with your own photos. Take pictures of your food, because that whatever it put together to make you look like your hamburger, that looks terrible. There are like carrots on that hamburger for some reason. It doesn't know what it's doing.
At least we're boiling the fresh water in our country for this, right? All right, man. Betting plan for the Chiefs is I'm gonna just
make me a betting plan for the Chiefs. Make no mistakes.
Make no mistakes. I think I'm going to end up sacking up and just downgrading them a bit on offense, make them right 8 or 10th, which is going to tell my numbers to bet against them a bunch, and just do it, ride it out.
Let's rip. All right. Let's call it a week.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not even mad about my preseason future now.
I'm
way more worried about the Chargers than the Chiefs.
Are you? Of getting
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If the Chargers had, if the Chargers had a schedule like the Lions, Lions, that would have been one of the easiest bets in football this year, but alas. They got the scheduled demons on top of all the other cursed stuff.
All right, guys. Yeah, schools are